Hi, you all. Jenny here. I'm coming to you and I'm going to talk about hair loss um, on the HCG diet, or actually, more specifically, following the HCG diet. Before that, let me quickly go over numbers. Yesterday, I was at the water park all day. I did get in 15,000 steps for the day, so very proud of that. Um, and I ate three lettuce wraps. So it was three big pieces of lettuce. Inside each wrap was three slices of thinly sliced salami and a Colby cheese stick and some mustard rolled up. They were amazing. And it ended up being a little warmer yesterday than I originally anticipated. I thought it was going to be coolerish. I had the food in the shade, but still the cheese was starting to melt, was nice and soft and starting to melt, and the whole thing just tasted amazing. So, I heard something. I don't know what I heard. Okay. An animal, a cat, I should say, more specifically. Um, so that is what I had while I was at the water park for the day. I ate three of those. And when I came home, I had about a cup of buffalo chicken dip with celery sticks. I thought I'm going to go to a vegetable that is extremely P3 friendly because there's essentially no calories or carbs at all in the celery. So I used that to eat the buffalo chicken dip, was very happy with that. And then right before I was winding down, I had that sweet, and so I ate like, okay, I'm not kidding when I say, I said yesterday I ate the Cool Whip. I think I ate three-quarters of the container yesterday. So I ate the last quarter yesterday, and I looked at it and I realized that a quarter of the container, if I eat the whole container, it's 50 carbs. So it was closer to 12.5 carbs for the amount that I ate yesterday. But in hindsight, I mean, I may have had maybe two carbs in the buffalo chicken dip at most. So I think I still stayed under my 20 carbs for the day. And I got on the scale this morning and it said I lost 1.3 pounds. Wasn't expecting that because here's my last 4 days. Now, okay, prior to the last 4 days, I had 4 days of gain. So I had plus zero point 0.8, plus zero point 0.8, plus 1.8, plus 2.3. Okay, so those were not good, and those were like epic carb failure days as well. Not every single one of them. It was kind of like hit and miss. One was a restaurant salad, so who knows really what was in it. And yeah, one was a dessert that I had at my mom's house, and then I had one day where I just fell off the wagon and kept going. Not terribly, but just like a lot of food, and then it ended up being a handful of chips. So, I mean, can't do that. All right. But since then, it was minus 2.7, minus zero point 0.6, minus zero point 0.7, and now minus 1.3. So I was very excited. I was very excited to see that overall in P3, I am down 3.2 pounds. I was so excited about that until I looked back at my chart and realized there really was a date. Before those 4 days of gain, I had a day where I was down 3.6. So, yeah, I'm still zero point 0.4 away from being where my lowest was in P3. I didn't realize I had gotten down that low, but that's okay. I was still very excited to see the scale today, and I am on my way. I am 1 pound away from being in that other category of um, numbers. 1 pound away from that other, the tens. If you weigh 200, 190, 180, 170, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, hitting another group of numbers is just exciting to see that second number on the scale after the one, if you're in the 100s, to have that second number change. Even if you're in the 200s, having that second number change is huge. All right. Um, so let's talk about hair loss today. Oh, I do want to point out that when I was talking about the keto strips, that sure enough, the night after having 3/4 of the tub of Cool Whip, my ketones went down to trace amounts of ketones. At least it didn't go down to none, but it went down to trace. The next morning, which was yesterday morning, it said trace amounts again on the scale. All right, so trace amounts, trace amounts. But what I found interesting is I don't even know what possessed me to do it because I'm like, here I go wasting another keto stick. But I did test it again last night before I went to bed. And this was even after the quarter, I think. Oh, I don't know for certain. I can't say for certain. But last night it said moderate. It went up to moderate. So I was very excited about that. I didn't do it this morning just because I had just done it last night, and I thought I have to look into getting some more of the sticks. So I'm starting to be a little bit more frugal with them. But I did want to do a little bit of a test to see, will it change now throughout the day. Remember when I first started on keto, it took a few days for each one of those to go up from none to trace to mild to moderate, and eventually I hit high one day. Um, and um, I wanted to know, I noticed that all of a sudden I could get kicked out of it pretty quickly. So today, let me write that down. So, or large, I guess, not high, large. So yesterday was trace, and then today was moderate. So I went from large to trace to moderate. So it is now doing bigger swings. My body is kind of reacting to whether I have carbs and whether I don't have carbs more significantly than it was before. I don't know why. Just saying, just noticed. Or maybe I'm just getting better at monitoring my food and I'm being better for longer and then dropping off the wagon, whereas last time it took me a while to get up there because I kept having little bits of carbs and not even realizing it or counting them or calculating them. That could be. I don't really know, but I did want to share that with you because I found it interesting. Okay, so here's something else that I found not so interesting. I guess it's interesting. I'm not so happy. The past week, I've noticed more and more hair in the drain of my shower. Now, you can look all the way back to the beginning of this channel. This is a phenomenon that happens with me often on HCG. And from all the research, I've realized that it truly is just a matter of um, your body having so little food and it not providing the nutrients to hair growth because it's saving the nutrients for just general functioning of your body. Now, not everybody has this reaction, but a lot of people do. And a lot of people have commented on previous videos where I've talked about it that it's happened to them as well. So I did a lot of research when I went to do HCG again. And it wasn't necessarily HCG related, but I was doing research on people who needed females. Not that that mattered, but I just thought, I don't know if it was a hormonal thing that related to me, but people who had hair loss and who wanted it to come back. Now, it has always come back, but I would say my hair is not as thick as it once was back in the day. Now, could that just because I'm getting older? I don't know. But it's never quite been exactly the same. The other thing I noticed is when I had the ruptured appendix and I was basically not eating for about a month, other than like some peaches in the morning and then a couple bites of something in the evening just to make myself eat, but just not wanting to put food in my body at all because of the pain of it all. That was a good month of that. I did have hair loss the month after that once I started eating again. And that was about a month. It was about a month of bed rest at home, recuperating from that. So the same thing happened. Here I am, I'm day 41 in P3. So at about day 35, like right around a month afterwards, the hair loss starts happening. Now, I would think it would make sense that I was losing it during that time, but just not really noticing it initially. But it took a while for the other hairs to start to grow out. But I don't notice any hair loss in the drain of the shower while I am on HCG at all. It's usually about a month out afterwards that all of a sudden it starts happening. So anybody who's a doctor out there who understands hair growth and can shed any light and share it with me, I appreciate it. But this is the pattern that's been consistent. I was able to dodge it the last two times. I thought with vitamins, but it might also be that I wasn't as really good on HCG. I did better and lost more. Like the more weight I lose on it, the more it tends to be that the hair loss is going to happen. And sure enough, when I had the ruptured appendix and I was on bed rest and just not having an appetite, and then also in a lot of pain and not wanting to put food in my gut during the recovery, I lost 17 pounds in that month. Um, so I think it's a little bit more related to rapid weight loss for me, but who knows? Who knows? All the way through, I took a multivitamin. I took a multivitamin all the way through when I was recovering, and I take it now. I am not 100% good about taking my multivitamins or any of my vitamins that I take. So I'm trying to be better about it. I believe that you're supposed to take two of these. Yes, you're supposed to take two of these. I usually just take one of these for my hair growth during HCG or at any point where I feel like it's getting loose after HCG. Typically, I try to just do it throughout HCG. And the last couple rounds, it's worked. Now, again, it might be that I haven't lost as much and I wasn't as strict on the diet. So there's a lot of variables in here. This isn't a hard and fast study. But this is the hair growth, hair strengthening pills that seemed the best to me when I did some research online. They are only available through QVC. The only way you can get them. It's called Healthy Hair, Skin, and Nails, and it looks like the picture comes back from the 1970s. Very, very basic. It may have come out that way, but it contains 4,000 milligrams of biotin, a complete B complex, so I guess all the B vitamins, I guess that's what that means, MSM, and silicone. And so when I was looking into pills, some of them had silicone, some of them were just biotin. I have biotin already because I have very weak nails. So I have biotin pills already, but I stopped taking them when I take this just because it says 4,000 milligrams of it. And you take two at a time, so that's 8,000 milligrams. So in the past week since I started noticing the hair, there'd be like a whole clump of hair left over after each shower. So it's going, and I do notice if I get really close to the mirror, I can see all along my hairline tiny little hairs. So I've lost along my hairline hair too. I also have to be careful how I when I lose hair, like after every pregnancy, I had a hair loss. So what's that? I ate throughout the whole thing. I never was not able to eat throughout my pregnancy. But I've heard a lot of people say, and this is hormone related, which is why originally I thought it was hormone related with HCG. That when you're pregnant that your hair gets very thick and luscious and all that, and that goes away afterwards. Well, sure enough, my hair got even thicker with each pregnancy, and I had significant hair loss afterwards, but it didn't really notice that much because I had very thick hair and I have curly hair, so it wasn't as significant. But where I did notice it with my three pregnancies is like where men would start to go bald on the side here. This gets very thin, and you can see how thin it is right now too. Very, very thin on both these patches on the side. So I kind of have to watch to not, because I have my hair clipped back. If I clip it too much back, then you really see the patches there on the side. I should just keep it down, but I have a short forehead and I don't like my hair hanging in my face. So yeah, so that's what happens to me. That's my hair loss pattern. It's mostly right here, but obviously it was along the whole hairline. I can see tiny little hairs growing back all along here and probably throughout my whole scalp and head. That exact same thing is happening. So if I keep losing it, those hairs are just this small. It's going to take a long time for them to come out. And to even be like this long to start to make a significance in like filling up my hair again. So I'm trying to be better now and be proactive and take 2 of these a day, every day, to hopefully stop it. Last time I noticed it didn't really stop it. It just kept happening until it ran its course, and it's usually about a month of the hair just keeping falling out, and then eventually it stops. Even after when I didn't take the pills, it was about a month of it doing. It's almost like it equivaled the same number of days I was on HCG. So I don't know. HCG is a hormone. It's a hormone produced when you're pregnant. So it made sense to me that it was the HCG hormone that was keeping my hair from getting lost, and then when stopping the HCG that I was losing it, because that's what happened with all my pregnancies and what I've read with many women, that the exact same thing happens after the pregnancy. The hair shedding begins, and during the pregnancy not. HCG is present when you're pregnant. Then it goes away after you give birth. I mean, that all just made sense to me. But then the fact that the exact same thing happened after the ruptured appendix made me realize, okay, I think there's more to this. I think it has to do with either rapid weight loss or a restriction of calories. Yeah. It's just weird that it happens a month later, doesn't it? Because, like, I have a lot more calories in my body now. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. That's your information. If you want to be proactive about it, these work. I want to say this bottle was maybe $20 to $30. It's the largest bottle. It has 360 pills in it. And again, it's from HSN, so that's the only place that it's sold. Um, but if I would have been diligent, maybe I wouldn't be in this situation. I would have just taken them regularly, and it is starting to grow back a little bit since I started using this again. I did kind of start using it at the end of HCG, sort of, kind of, but then started picking it up when I thought, oh, I think I'm going to start losing hair about now, and I started picking up the reliability of taking one every day. But like in the past 4 and 5 days, I've been ramping it up to do 2 a day. Okay, my cat is attacking me down here. That's all I have for today. Healthy hair, skin, and nails. What a basic name. And it's from Pro Caps Laboratories, All Solar Manufacturing. Easy to swallow capsules. I will tell you, they smell horrible. If you're somebody who normally can't swallow pills and really can't swallow pills if they smell bad, this is going to be rough for you. They're regular size caplets like this in the plastic coating, but that plastic coating does not keep the smell away. They're really bad. I just kind of have to plug up my nose and go for it, and then have a flavored drink. And then afterwards, I usually take some fiber gummies because they taste sweet and good, and it's extra fiber in my diet. So that's kind of what I do to um, cover up, rather than just eating food all the time right afterwards, which I guess I could do. But I just figured the fiber gummies is like a sweet treat for me because there's almost no calories in them, but they taste good. And then when I have 2 of those fiber gummies after I take these, I don't have this taste in my mouth anymore. Occasionally, I might taste it if I burp shortly, like within an hour afterwards. But other than that, usually I don't have any residual taste from them. Okay, I hope that's helpful for you. All right, maybe I'll see you tomorrow. We'll see what the scale says. Hard to believe it's going to keep going down. Really hard to believe it's going to keep going down. Let me just say, the past 2 days were also bowel movement days, so minus -0.7, minus -1.3. There definitely was some weight loss, literal weight loss out of my body that contributed to that as well. So depending on how many more days before the next bowel movement, I think that that will affect the scale. So I'm not expecting a loss again tomorrow. Again, typically in P3 the goal isn't to lose weight, although I'd love to. Um, and I'm down 3.2 in P3, so love that. So I'd love to keep this up. If I can keep up this pace and lose in the next 3 weeks another couple pounds, then I'm in good shape for doing HCG again at about 3 months out after the last round. That would be fantastic because I think it's important to try to wait as much as possible between rounds. There's a whole nother video on that as well. All right, you take care. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye.